And after that, we're going to do Shirley Fraser. Hi. Introduce yourself and start when you're ready.
I'm Sarah Wolfe. I apologize in advance. This is just so emotional. I've been separated from my children, my 4- and 6-year-old, for 9 months. And I didn't know that this problem existed. I've been a mom for 17 years. Never spent one day away from my kids, and it was my own domestic violent abuser. I went and got a protection order from Faces of Hope, and Stacy and her entity, Nampa Justice Center, also has helped me and my kids. And he broke that protection order and attacked me in my sleep and committed a felony. And during that time, my special needs little boy, I didn't have him diagnosed yet, and so I agreed to let the dad have probation and ankle bracelet. They called it a safe plan, and it wasn't safe. And pretty much once he finished the anger management and the classes, the abuse picked back up. And so I started reaching out to Faces of Hope in August and September. I had called about 84 times, and he found out throughout that, made the relationship pretty bumpy, went out of town on a golf trip, and then came back off probation, and 29 days later filed a false protection order, and false allegations went to health and welfare. And I went through that investigation, and I was removed from our home, but also my teenager was stuck in the middle of that. She actually was served with a court process too by her own abuser. She actually had called 911 on him, and he told her, I would get rid of your brother and sister and get you and your mom out of here. And then we got that probation with that crime, and then he actually did do that to my little girl. So she had to actually be hospitalized. He dumped all of our belongings out in front of my 4- and 6-year-old in the winter. And then I think the most hurtful thing about sitting here today is that not one single of my court hearings have ever been what was talked about today. It smashed me, and then I'm a communicator, so the system is really quiet, and I found that my personality also was just didn't work well for me. I really struggled with an attorney. I couldn't get an attorney. I spoke up. I thought integrity mattered and laws mattered and like transparency mattered, but I realized it didn't. I even met the director of Idaho Health and Welfare, and I actually presented my case to them, how afraid I was for their department and what they do to the public. And they told me that they would fix it. And I worked with the Idaho ombudsman, Trevor Sparrows, who also met my daughter, and just he knew too that it was just not okay. And he promised me, you know, hey Sarah, we're working on the department. And I thought that they cared. And then I called, and all those employees still work for them. And not only that, I called our own attorney general and our governor's office, and they actually treated me so poorly. They hung up on many of my friends, many people who were advocating, and actually even an ICU nurse here at St. Luke's Hospital, where they completely disrespected her, hung up on her. I was made fun of. I was actually told that it made me look crazy to call, and I'd never called a leadership in my entire lifetime. But then also those children were killed by another parent. And so while I've gone through this, it's just literally been torture. And I just thought if I just emailed the right people that no one would ever just turn me away. My little boy has just never been away from me. it's just so obvious that this is domestic violence and that the court rules should have been followed. But then my judge has been asked to recuse himself. My judge has made fun of me. My judge laughed at me. He told me that I needed to get an attorney over and over and over again, where I'm like, I want an attorney. Would you give me an attorney? And then he laughed at me. He's like, I can't do that. Later on, then says, well, she could have asked for an attorney. And I'm like, but I did ask you for an attorney. A lot of dishonesty. And the biggest thing I'll say that I think we need to change is that perjury should never be allowed. I have over 33 counts of perjury. Also, this person's been violent to my children. My son tested positive for drugs in his hair. Also, CPS they were going to hold me accountable, but then when they find the correct parent, they didn't hold him accountable, where I could have corrected my case very long ago.
Thank you so much for your testimony today. This had to be tough. We're pretty far over, but I'm sure there might be a question or two. Just hold on a minute.
No problem.
Go ahead. Same question that everyone's been asking. What has this costed you besides your children?
And time.
Time and money.
I mean, I don't even know if that's measurable, because a lot of it I went pro se. So I would say that it was rebuilding my life, but also coming up with money. I couldn't come up with it, so I got hurt the other way, which is violated completely, no protection. No one ever once gave my kids a voice. None of my children have gotten to be a part of any of it. No one's actually even asked if they're okay. So just mostly having accountability. And then I did file 3 judicial complaints, among many other things that counted against me.
Follow up.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
So I'm sorry, Miss Wolfe. I understand that. I understand you probably didn't have a lot of money, but could you give? And I know the other stuff. Could you give some dollar figure in your circumstance?
Yeah, I would say over the 9 months, it would probably be more around $50,000 to $80,000.
And that's no small figure. So 50 to 80,000. And Madam Chair, if I may, what time frame are we talking?
9 months.
9 months.
And that's also like I also lost a lot of. You lose a lot of work. Because you have to go to a court all the time, and then you lose a lot of money too through the process.
Another question I have that I just want you to clarify. So you're saying that your ex has criminal charges against him that were adjudicated, like he's a criminal.
He has approximately 26 charges. He actually also has trafficking heroin. Also, he's with a spouse that has about 25 charges. It's around my children, including manufacturing methamphetamines and injury to a child. So yeah, these are like major crimes.
And so 26 charges, and then the judge said you don't get any custody?
Well, he made those false allegations.
Right, but I'm just saying, has those false allegations, they've been proved false.
Yeah, so it's just, I keep going. In fact, even the supervised visiting place keeps saying, like, how much longer are you going to come here? And then now, most recently, he's now trying the reunification, and I'm like, there's no excuse for that. We need to go to standard parenting. Yeah.
We appreciate this, because this is how we can look at criminal code and...
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that they're not doing that.
Custody.
And then the perjury in my case is just so extreme that when you allow perjury to happen, it keeps happening. And I also urge you to Google the silver bullet, because that's where it's actually on trend right now. And you go and dismantle your partner and commit perjury, because they'll say right there that you won't get in trouble for it. And actually, even attorneys are telling their clients how to fill those out to make sure that they go through. And he actually filed for 3 protection order petitions, all with perjury and omissions. And one of them was against a minor child that called the 911, and he was arrested on a $100,000 bond. So he went around and did that to my little girl too. So he's not just doing it to another adult. Yeah.
So sorry you're going through this, and we thank you for your being brave and
you.
showing up today. And
Thank you.